effectively as possible. Does that make sense to everybody so far? Okay. So the recovery board's framework for the Asheville Downtown Commission. So Steph has graciously agreed to present this for us and kind of walk us through where we are and where we think we're headed. Steph, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Moffitt. Really appreciate being here. Really lovely to see everyone again. I think I've seen pretty much all of you or most of you fairly recently, but as a group, that's a wonderful thing. Today, we are going to talk about City Council's initiative to create 4 recovery boards and how the Asheville Downtown Commission is part of that framework. Next slide. So for purposes of that, we are streaming now, which is lovely. For purposes of recordation and memorialization, my name is Steph Munson-Dahl, and I'm the Planning and Urban Design Director for the City of Asheville. Today in this presentation about the 4 recovery boards, we are going to talk about the basics of those boards, how they will work. We will talk about the appointments from the Downtown Commission to both the Economy Board, that's 1 seat, and the Housing Board, and we'll discuss the scope of work for each of those. We'll talk about opportunities for engagement as advisory board members from now until the anticipated date of the recovery boards completing their assignments, which is in June 2027, and talk about what being on demand or as needed means for the Downtown Commission members. Next slide. I would like to have this presentation be a little bit interactive. We can entertain questions as we go. If I know that the presentation is going to answer some of your questions as we move through, I might say we're going to cover that. But I would like for you to know that I assume that you are pretty up to speed on the recovery boards, and I'm not going to go into massive detail on some of these slides. Raising your hand is a way to say, actually, this is a part I didn't know about or I have a question about. Is that all right with everyone? Yep. Thank you. For recovery boards, people in the environment, housing, infrastructure, and the economy, these are being set up by City Council for them to get really good public input and engagement and advice during our recovery period after Tropical Storm Helene. There's a link there if you want to see the actual staff report and the resolution. They were purposely created to align with the priorities that they came up with during their retreat this year. I also already noted how long that they are anticipated to last for. And you have heard that the other advisory boards that were pre-existing or extant may be called up as an as needed or on-demand basis. We'll talk a little bit about that further on. And then just note that boards like the that need to meet, like the Civil Service Board, if they need to meet, they're meeting, and boards like the Planning and Zoning Commission that is required to meet by statute, and HRC, which is quasi-judicial and makes very specific decisions. Those are up and running, and they have been running. Next slide. So each of these boards is very similar to some of our existing advisory boards in that they will have a chair and vice chair, and the amount of members is not anticipated to be like extraordinarily large or small. They'll have 11 members, and 7 of those members are coming from other advisory boards. There are at-large seats that are going to be open for other appointments, and our staff is going to be fully supporting them. There will be a liaison, and then there will be other staff, subject matter experts, administrative help, legal, folks from the city clerk's office that are supporting the excellent operations of these boards. So they're going to be streamed online, accessible to the public, and regular. We think they're probably going to be meeting monthly. Next slide. So as you know, the Downtown Commission has been asked to provide a member for both the Economy Board and the Housing Board. I want you to take a look at the other advisory boards that are also participating in those recovery boards. So for Economy, you can see that's like folks from AHEC and the African American Heritage Committee, Community Entertainment Facilities Commission. Makes a lot of sense. We're going to have a good representation in these boards that's very diverse and has expertise in a lot of areas, both from their previous experience being on these boards and also in the work they do every day in community. Next slide. So here's the scope of the, we're going to go through the Economy and the Housing boards because those are the boards that you're appointing to. For both of them, you're going to see that they have a role in providing specific input to City Council, but also then they have a support role. So for the Economy Board, that input is like policy recommendations that promote post-disaster recovery and like rebuilding and revitalizing the local economy, input that expands local economic resilience and diversification, input that emphasizes how we can best utilize our public resources and consider new land use policies in both city-owned properties and thinking about how we might use some acquired land post-disaster to promote placemaking, community vitality, and sustainable long-term growth. They'll be looking at input on workforce development programs. And then the support piece is really looking at existing, so say like an existing operational work that we do and how we can expand, for instance, the city's contractor pool. These are all things that City Council has specifically said that they were interested in as their priorities. So small and underrepresented businesses need that support. You can go to the next slide. And then for housing, very similar, there's, some input ones. So on policy, post-disaster housing stability, temporary and permanent housing solutions for displaced residents, strategies to proactively address future displacement. And then you can see this one, supporting City Council by helping residents navigate those challenges. I saw Eva Michelle's hand go up. Any questions on these?
No, sorry, it was a connection thing. I had to drop out and I'm back.
Okay, great. All right, so those the boards that you will be directly assigning, that's the scope of work for those boards. So next slide. So here's some more details, lots of details. What I'll say is that you don't actually have to participate in these recovery boards, and there are a couple boards that may only send one member or are declining, basically based on time or not feeling like that's their expertise. But we think that we encourage you very much to take part in this, and the deadline is coming up Friday, September 28th. To make those appointments. And that's one of the reasons why you're here today. So thank you, Chair Moffitt, for bringing everybody together. Technically, the chair and vice chair could just have served in those seats or just appointed, but you're going to have that discussion today amongst yourselves. And then the recovery boards, that's what the RBs are, will be appointed or created on October 14th by City Council. And we think they're going to start meeting before the end of the calendar year, most of them probably by November. And just a reminder that runs through June 30th, 2027. So it's about a year and a half. Next slide. A big question that a lot of people have is how the advisory boards may get assigned tasks or be called on demand or as needed. So there's both a top-down way this happens and a bottom-up. So you may have seen these slides at council. So the top-down way is basically saying that like city council or council committee, so for instance, PEDE or the Housing and Community Development Committee, they can assign tasks to an advisory board. Something might come up and they say, hey, Public Art and Cultural Commission, we got a job for you. We need you to meet. We need you to work on this thing. Similarly, department directors can also say, we've got a work plan item. We really need to engage the community, get that kind of supportive feedback or input on a policy. I'm going to call them up. So as a reminder, like an advisory board has got to get approval from council or council committee to actually work on an item that hasn't been assigned to them. We're going to talk about that way to get approval during the bottom up slide. And the main thing is just to know that we're really, really focused in recovery about aligning the resources we have, row that boat in the same direction and get some things done. And we're feeling pretty good about recovery. I know the 1 year marker for Helene is coming up, and a lot of us are thinking about what has happened and what has not. And this is one of the things that I think we can celebrate moving forward, is aligning our work a little bit better. Next slide. So here's the more grassroots way that board members can propose new tasks. So the advisory boards have different pathways. One is to talk to someone who is on one of the recovery boards and say, I've got an idea. I think we should put a Ferris wheel in the middle of Pack Square Park, and I need you to bring it to the Economic Recovery Board. I think it's a way to get families downtown. And that recovery board can then work with a council committee or staff to talk about alignment. But still, it needs to be approved. So they can communicate that idea directly to PEDE, and that can be through written public comment or commenting live during the meeting. And the same thing for city council. And then you could ask the board chair to present the idea to the department director. That's me. And the department director, as a reminder, can then assign a task. So if the department director sees that this makes a lot of sense, then they will say, yep, let's go ahead and have this group meet. Any question on the top down and bottom up ways for advisory boards to get engaged? Okay. Some other things, as I mentioned, the planning and urban design director is basically able to assign you tasks. And since we have so many boards in our department, we have 8 for our advisory boards and for our development review boards. I'm going to be acting as a central point of contact for now until probably the start of the next fiscal year for general coordination of a lot of activities. That means Dana is still your subject matter expert and your staff liaison. But when you email, please email myself and Dana, just so that I know what is going on and have an understanding of what you're looking to accomplish with your involvement in boards and commissions, whether it be recovery boards or the as needed boards. So, and then also don't forget your city clerk's office is hard at work doing a lot of work on, updating training programs for these new boards. They're going to have a lot of answers for you. So if you have specific questions, you can always reach out to them and just CC myself and Dana. I think there's going to be some discussion today about people rolling off. Note that whether or not you're eligible for reappointment because of the storm, all of the terms that had expired, they can now be extended until June 30th. But you, if you choose not to stay on this board, the clerk's office is going to continue to fill those existing vacancies. So re-advertisements are currently scheduled for September 8th. And then the application deadline will be September 28th. And council will make those appointments at the meeting after they set up the recovery boards. So October 14th is the recovery board appointments. And October 28th will be appointments to the advisory board. Next slide. And lastly, we just want to make sure that you know that all of this information is available on the project page. And that's a project page for the recovery boards. You can also subscribe for updates, and I really encourage you to do so. I know our clerk's office is great at getting emails out, but sometimes you need those multiple prongs when your email box is filling up, and this is one way to do it. And we're happy to take any questions you might have. You guys are like experts at this now. You've seen all the presentations, read all the emails. All right, Chair.
Not everything. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You got it, Chair. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So if I could summarize, we have today, we will be, I would like to assign one person to housing, one person to economy. And then anyone that that would still like to serve and does not get assigned an automatic slot, you still can make an application to serve. Does that make sense? So basically like an at-large seat, and we'll go from there. And then I would anticipate that we'll have one or two meetings probably in the next year and a half. As the DTC, I would expect as the recovery boards come up with policies and procedures, there will be a need for downtown input for something at some point in time. So I do expect for us to continue to meet. And to that end, we need to have officer elections to make sure that we are at least somewhat in compliance. We're not able to follow all of our procedures. So I wasn't able to assign a nominating committee for this called special meeting. But at this time, I will open it up for officer elections. So we'll have an election for chair and an election for vice chair. And I've asked Ricardo, since he said he didn't want to either thing, if he would not mind running this part of the meeting. As I'll step out. So I guess we'll do vice chair first, Ricardo.
All right. I'm not sure, can we do self-nominations? Is that correct?
Yeah, you can nominate someone, or we can do self-nominations.
Okay. So, all right. So thank you. Morning, everybody. Brian just explained we are looking for to fill the chair and vice chair positions for the next cycle. And so at this time, we're looking for anybody who is interested in filling the chair position. And if you are interested, please speak up.
So I'm willing to serve again for what it's worth.
Anybody else? Nobody wants to go against Brian?
Oh, come on. Surely.
Oh, I don't know, Brian. I knew this was going to happen. All right. So we'll go first. We'll do a vote on for Brian. So I nominate Brian Moffitt for the position of chair of the Downtown Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I guess the nomination passes, and we'll go to a vote now. And we'll start with Billy.
Aye.
Did you roll? Billy says aye. All right. Brian, do you vote?
Aye, sure.
Eva Michelle,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Jackson. No, Jackson doesn't vote. Sorry, Jefferson,
Aye.
Megan,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Stu,
Aye.
and I am an aye. So,
Great.
congratulations, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
So now we move on to the position of vice chair. Anybody interested in filling the position of vice chair for the company site?
Can you tell us
Also
more?
willing to continue.
Okay.
Vice Chair Stu is basically copied on everything I'm copied on, and then takes over in my absence.
Okay. And
You want
did
it?
Michelle? No.
Are you
I nominate Ava Michelle.
okay? I will second that. So we'll go through the vote again. Billy,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Eva Michelle. Nope, she froze. We'll come back. Hayden,
Aye.
Jefferson,
Aye.
Megan,
Aye.
Robin.
Aye.
Stu,
Aye.
I am an aye. And do we have Eva Michelle back?
Sorry, did you
She's
miss
mine.
me? Yeah. Aye.
Good. Okay, so there you go. Congratulations. It's unanimous.
Thank you, Ricardo. I appreciate it. And folks, I apologize if this seems like a little bit of a kabuki theater. It's really not intended to be. I just want to make sure we're being transparent as possible, because I know there's a lot of anyway, we are where we are. All right, so I'll keep moving on through the agenda and try not to take too much of your time. So we still need to make sure we are, one of the boards that is continuing to meet because of their technical responsibilities is design review, and we appoint 3 members to design review. Our current members that we had appointed would be myself, Robin, and Ricardo. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. I think Robin wants to tap out. Yes. Yes, Robin wants
Yes.
to tap out. Ricardo, are you willing to continue to serve?
Yes.
Okay, I'm willing to continue to serve. But we can take nominations, do whatever. So, first of all, are there more than 2 people that want to serve on design review? Stu?
I'd like to serve if nobody else wants to.
I think that would be a lot of fun. Anybody else?
Actually, I should say this. If there is anybody else who is interested in serving, I'm willing to step down. So don't feel like we've got the positions filled. So if you really are interested, I'm willing to step down.
All right. I don't see anybody jumping in. Well, so I'd like to make a motion that myself, Ricardo, and Stu continue to serve as the downtown the commission's representatives to the design review committee.
Second.
So moved. There's a second. All right. I'm going to run through Jefferson.
Aye.
Stu,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Billy.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Ricardo,
Aye.
Robin,
Aye.
Megan,
Aye.
Eva Michelle.
Aye.
Robin, yes, ma'am. You raised a hand.
Does this start immediately?
You are like,
Because we have a meeting next week. Does that mean I don't go?
yes, you don't have to go.
All right.
You don't have to go. So I will I'll make sure that I'll make sure Will gets this. Thank you, Robin. He swaps you out for Stu. And Stu, I'll be available next week if you've got questions on what in the Sam Hill we're doing.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, that's design review. So recovery board appointments. This was the one where I really did not, this was why I wanted to have the meeting most of all. I do not believe that I am automatically the best person. Even Michelle probably is, but I don't think I'm the best person necessarily for one of our two slots. It seems like a really big deal. And I didn't want to just make that decision without consulting you, basically. Does that make sense? So if we could, I'd like to go through and instead of doing them one at a time, would anyone like to serve on, really thinks that they would like to serve on one of these boards?
I'd have an interest in economy.
Okay.
Same. I'm definitely not cut out for housing, but economy, yes.
Anybody? I'm sorry, I'm taking notes. I didn't mean to lean out of the frame like I'm trying to leave. Anybody else for economy? See, I mean, like when she was reading through the thing, there's like one thing that I might have something to do with the land management stuff. The rest of it, I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I have opinions. I'm very gifted at having opinions, but like informed opinion, no, not so much. How about housing?
Robin's sitting on her hands. I can see it.
Well, I'm rotating off this, but I don't know when. Do I rotate off this in
You
June?
don't, no. So if you want to leave, this is not a suicide pact. Anybody that wants out, hey Jefferson, you're allowed to leave, right? And they'll reappoint someone to serve for our as needed basis, right? So anybody that wants to leave the DTC can leave. But if you're currently serving and you want to and you would like to continue to serve, you're automatically extended through the June 30th, 2027 date. Does that make sense? So Robin, if you want to stay,
I would stay if I were you.
If you want to stay and you want to serve on housing, you are honestly the best qualified of any. Forgive me, I'll quit. I'm on the scale. That's not right.
If nobody else wants it, I'll stay till June. But if somebody else
27.
wants it, yeah, of 20, wait.
27.
Oh God.
But it's not a suicide pact, remember?
It's not a suicide
You can
pact.
tap out. You can tap out.
Okay.
And if you do, the way it's not explicit in there. Dana and Steph can step in. I think if you leave that advisory board, I don't think we automatically get to reappoint our representative to that. But I didn't see that, but I would think that's the intent. Is that then we would appoint someone else from the DTC to take your spot. Does that make sense?
It does. Is anybody else interested?
You're better at it than I. That's the only one I could do, but you're going to be way better at it than me. We both know this. Come on. No, Ricardo. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. So Robin for housing seems kind of unopposed. And then we need to talk about, yes, ma'am. Hayden.
I'm happy to give it to Eva Michelle because I'm already like super involved in a lot of these conversations at lots of different levels and would love to get more voices in the room.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. See, this is why we do these things.
We'll make sure that Robin carries your opinions forward.
Okay. All right. So what I have is Eva Michelle for economy as our appointed representative for the DTC and Robin for housing. All right. I'd like to vote on this. Does anyone have okay. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Eva Michelle to the Economy Recovery Board and Robin Raines to the Housing Recovery Board.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. I'm going to go through the roll call. Jefferson,
Aye.
Stu,
Aye.
Hayden,
Aye.
Billy.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Ricardo.
Aye.
Robin.
Aye.
Megan.
Aye.
Eva Michelle.
Aye.
Well done. Thank y'all. I really appreciate this. Okay. I think we had a link to the Downtown Improvement District reporting. So just to be very clear, again, we're not serving as an advisory board currently. You know what I mean? We're part of an advisory board, but that advisory board's functions have been suspended. We never had a formal, as the Downtown Commission, we never had a formal relationship requirement, what I can't think of the right word, with the Downtown Improvement District. In other words, we had no formal oversight. I think that's the right word I'm looking for. But Dana will continue to share reporting to us with that because I think Jefferson, yes, sir.
Sorry, I was just curious, should that public comment about downtown safety be forwarded to the ADID?
I think it has.
Okay.
I'm going to, thank you. I still see the advisory boards, even though our function has been suspended, we still have a role to play in collecting information from different constituencies and pushing that information up the line. So we wanted to include this link to the Downtown Improvement District as a sample. You're going to continue to get information as a Downtown Commission member. If you have questions, you can send those to me. With this sounds like something that if we were meeting, we'd be doing something about, can we? I can then forward that on to Dana and Steph. And if Steph thinks that that's actually an issue that we need to meet about or need to have a public input on, then we'll call a meeting. So similar to this, our public comment question, that's a real question. It needs to go to the correct people and then they can act on it. Does that make sense? So yes, thank you, Jefferson. Any questions on kind of, I wanted to use that to address kind of like where we're going to be for the next year and a half. And then of course, our two representatives on these two boards, if they see something in that, then they can kind of request that recovery board. Hey, this, the DTC could meet and get public input and address this policy. So, all right. All right, I don't want to take up everybody's time. I know we've got a couple of hard stops. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you. I wish we could meet and do more business. Yes, Ms. Hayden.
I have two really important updates for downtown that I'd love to share with you guys. The
Please
first
do.
is we are hosting the Happy Urbanist John Wesolowski on Tuesday, September 16th. We talk a lot about placemaking in this group, downtown streets, activation of public spaces, and he's going to be doing a presentation on Tuesday the 16th. Registration is filling up, so please register. It's going to be a really nice event. I dropped the registration link in the chat. And then as it relates to our public comment, we actually are hosting 4 downtown stakeholders. So this is property owners, business owners, downtown employees, and residents. We're hosting a public safety panel. I'm just going to drop that in here. We ask that folks register for that as well. It's going to be on Thursday, September 18th at the YMI at 9 o'clock. So we're going to hear from Chief Lamb. We're going to hear from the Asheville Fire Department REST team and a person representing the continuum of care in this panel, really just trying to give people the resources they need, who to call, what to expect when they call someone going into the busy fall season.
Thank you. missed a message. It seemed like I did. Okay. Well, that ends our formal agenda. Is there any informal discussion or anything else that we need to cover real quick? Thank you. Really appreciate it. I'll see all of you in about a year and a half. Hopefully before then.
I did want to just informally talk about downtown a little bit and how it's doing. I know that the restaurants, the retailers and stuff, and our company, the food tour company, we're all very sort of up and down. We have great days and then we have really slow days. And I've been paying attention to the PDA reports and stuff, and we are really, really seeing that event-driven economy with different events bringing different types of people downtown. You know, like the Billy Strings crowd's a lot different than other crowds that might come, and the retailers are telling me, oh, certain shows got us a lot of business, whereas others, you know, were mostly for people who come to drink beer. And so I'm really happy with the events that are happening downtown and the diversity of the people coming to town. And for our food tour company, we're still seeing almost a 30-30-30 split of tourists, day trippers, and locals taking our tours. And I think I really haven't seen downtown so full of locals percentage-wise since even before COVID. And I feel like downtown's got a really nice vibe right now.
Thanks, Stu.
Stu, just to kind of back that up with some, numbers data, the Downtown Association and the Downtown Improvement District have been publishing visitor trends, and this is specific to downtown, so a little bit different from what Explore Asheville gives you. And I can drop that here. We're publishing this monthly, so you can really see. We hope that our downtown businesses use this to try and determine, when they're going to stay open, if they're going to stay open later on certain days. And we also can offer a breakdown of visitors versus locals versus downtown residents. And Billy on our call is actually the one that's been putting that together for us.
Thanks, Hayden.
That's all I had, folks. I really appreciate everybody jumping in. I appreciate your willingness to continue to serve even after a year absence. Kudos. That's some dedication to the cause. I appreciate it. Okay, with that, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor can log off, and I'll see you later. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.